waited for it, and we've answered the call. The all-new Kyssfm, the Federation's one true source for news, sports, and entertainment. Our dynamic team intend to change the way you view media with exciting and new original programming. Be a part of the Kyssfm evolution. With news from across the Federation, spanning the region and covering the globe. This is the Kyssfm SKN News Now Morning Edition, your one true source for news. And now your presenter.
Good morning. Today is Thursday, 15th February 2018. I'm Ebony Brandon. These are this morning's top stories. Nationally, Prime Minister Dr. Harris's personal attack on Honorable Marcella Liebert is being condemned by her opposition colleagues. Internationally, a school shooting in Florida has left 17 people dead. And in sport, the West Indies will face the ICC World 11 in a hurricane relief funding match. We also have today's weather forecast and Carib update. Now for a look at these news developments in detail. While banter and crosstalk in parliaments across the world is not unusual, that has in recent times taken a dark turn in St. Kitts and Nevis, where scathing personal attacks have been aimed at the sole elected female member of the National Assembly, Honorable Marcella Liebert, led by Prime Minister Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris. The Prime Minister is being condemned for his misogynistic personal attacks on the Central Bastille Member of Parliament. Following her presentation to the National Assembly on the SCASPA Amendment Bill 2018 on Tuesday, rather than addressing her presentation on the bill, Dr. Harris spent several minutes taking personal shots at Ms. Liebert. Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Michael Perkins, at no time made an attempt to end the Prime Minister's onslaught. Ms. Liebert's parliamentary colleagues on the opposition bench, including Leader Right Honourable Dr. Denzel Douglas, have condemned the Prime Minister's conduct and also expressed disappointment that Speaker Perkins would have allowed this to take place.
I mean, one of the things I was going to start with, for example, is what was allowed to take place with regard to the honourable member for number 2.
I will get into that.
Simply because she was forthright, strong in her criticism of the bill. The Prime Minister himself stooped to the level of being abusive, personally abusive to this lady, unparliamentary in a lot of his comments. I mean, these are things that should not happen. And the Speaker heard him say all those things, and never for one moment did he stop him or interrupt him or guided him. Never for one moment.
The woman on the receiving end of the attacks from the Prime Minister, Marcella Liebert, has responded to the situation calmly, however, and has said that she will not allow Dr. Harris to cause her to lose sight of the issues facing the country in relation to the amendments to the legislation governing the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authority.
Well, I've come to realize that this is who we are dealing with. Happens all of the time. It was during a parliamentary debate that he said that I cut my hair long so that my grey hair can't show. All of that was in a parliamentary debate and speaker. So he certainly has maybe lots of issues with me, but I suspect it comes about because I always tackle the issues in a way that makes it palatable to ordinary people to understand what's happening and to expose what they're doing, which is what I did today again. And clearly, with all the noise they were making, when he spoke, he was never able to address any of the issues that I raised with respect to that port bill. He was never able to say they're not selling the assets of the port. He wasn't able to say that. He wasn't able to say that they're not really opening up borrowing just to include unsecured loans and promissory notes. It isn't that the port didn't have the ability to borrow before. No, it did. So if it is that the port wants to raise funds and they already have the ability to borrow, why are you amending that section just to include unsecured loans and promissory notes, which are the least or the most risky form of any sort of borrowing, Why are you doing that? So again, he had no answer to these things. And like who he is, really, is like, you know, the best answer to these things when you don't have any real answers to the issues is to attack people personally.
Meanwhile, Senator the Honourable Nigel Carty believes that Honourable Conress Maynard is deliberately being targeted in the National Assembly in order to create a negative view of him in the public to a blatantly political end. It is no secret that Senator Akila Byron Nisbet is one of the persons being touted to run on Dr. Timothy Harris's People's Labour Party ticket in the St. Christopher III constituency in the next general elections. This would place her in direct battle with Mr. Maynard, who presently is the elected MP for that constituency. Mr. Carty believes that it is part of the PLP's political strategy to attempt to tarnish Mr. Maynard so that Mrs. Byron Nisbet can be represented to the public as the alternative.
Time ago, I had the reason to say to Conress, I think they're going to come after you. Because Timothy Harris has one other member of the PLP whom he badly wants to get into the parliament. And I know Timothy Harris. I worked with him for a number of years. And from day one, I was one of the persons to say that he was a narcissistic dictator. He would do anything and everything. And if Timothy Harris is allowed to continue to be the head of this government in St. Kitts and Nevis, we wouldn't be able to recognize St. Kitts and Nevis as a democracy if he were to continue for much longer. So what is happening to Conress is a result of a design and a scheme to get him out and to do all sorts of things to bring disrepute to him, to give Akila Byron, whose husband is running the MRI business over in Boreal, a chance to win that seat. This is patently wrong.
And in international developments this morning, at least 17 people have been killed in the United States of Florida by a gunman who opened fire at a high school. The incident occurred in the municipality of Parkland, north of Miami. Police say the suspect shooter is 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, a former student who was expelled and came back, reportedly with an assault rifle and smoke grenades. The suspected shooter was arrested by the police after a brief manhunt. Andy Gallagher has the details.
Reports of gunfire came as students at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School were about to leave. A code red alert was issued. The school was locked down. Its pupils led out with their hands in the air. Those still trapped inside could only hide as gunshots rang out.
Actually fell downstairs, and they were pushing all the students onto the baseball fields, but I've heard stories of people going to shoot the crowd, so I ran the opposite direction and I got off campus actually before the police got here.
The rescue operation was made difficult by the sheer size of the school. It's one of the largest in Broward County with more than 3,000 students, but the scale of this latest tragedy soon became clear.
12 victims were within the building. Two victims are outside, just outside the building. One victim is on the street at the corner of Pine Island, and 2 people lost their lives at the hospital.
Police say 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz, seen here being arrested by police, is the suspected shooter. He'd been expelled from the school and came back, reportedly with an assault rifle and smoke grenades.
This scourge of school shooting after school shooting. It only happens here not because of coincidence, not because of bad luck, but as a consequence of our inaction. We are responsible for a level of mass atrocity that happens in this country with zero parallel anywhere else.
President Trump took to Twitter offering his prayers and condolences, saying no child or teacher should feel unsafe in a school. At this staging area, relieved parents are being reunited with their children. But even as this community begins to mourn its dead, one stark fact remains. This year alone, there have already been 5 separate deadly school shootings, and few believe anything will change.
And in sport this morning, the Marylebone Cricket Club, MCC, in conjunction with Cricket West Indies, CWI, and the England and Wales Cricket Board, ECB, announced Wednesday that a special fundraising T20 international match will be played at Lord's on Thursday, 31st May this year. West Indies, current ICC World T20 champions, will take on an ICC Rest of the World 11 in a one-off match, which will be broadcast live on Sky Sports. The International Cricket Council, ICC, has confirmed its full support by granting the match international status and asking Giles Clark, ECB President and ICC Board member, to assist in coordinating the match. The cricket grounds in Dominica, Windsor Park Stadium and Anguilla James Ronald Webster Park were damaged following the passage of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. The organizers said these essential grounds represent the heartbeat of cricket in each country and are important community facilities. The proceeds from the fundraising match will go toward their restoration. Tickets for the match are priced between £20 and £60, with all children's tickets set at £10. The match is also significant as the last time that a match between West Indies and the rest of the world was held at Lord's was in 1966. And now for a look at this morning's weather forecast. Across St. Kitts and Nevis today, we can expect partly sunny conditions with a low or 30% chance of showers. Tonight will be partly cloudy to cloudy with a moderate or 50% chance of showers. Seas are moderate to locally rough with wave heights of 1.8 to 2.1 meters or 6 to 7 feet. Small craft operators should exercise caution against marginally safe seas. Winds are east to northeasterly at 14 to 21 miles per hour. The sea level pressure is 1020.2 millibars or 30.12 inches. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:37 a.m. and set today at 6:13 p.m. And with that look at the weather, we've come to the end of this morning's news presentation. A recap now of this morning's top stories. Nationally, Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris's attack on Honorable Marcella Liebert is being condemned by her opposition colleagues. Internationally, a school shooting in Florida has left 17 people dead. And in sport, the Windies will face the ICC World 11 in a hurricane relief funding match in Maine. I've been your presenter, Ebony Brandon. On behalf of the entire team here at Kyssfm, thanks for tuning in for this morning's news presentation. Up next, Carol Update.